Howdy, folks. I'm unruly Uranus, unwittingly unleashing unscrupulous urchins.
I'm Amber.
And here are more unscrupulous urchins unleashed upon the world. Folks, get your shoes because it's sharp out there. Alright, folks, our first letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Telling My Brother That He Was an Idiot to Spring a Surprise Wedding on His Girlfriend? To give my post context, I'll say that I was born and raised in the US, but I lived in Australia since I was 19, and I'm no longer a US citizen. I only have an Australian citizenship. Edit, I renounced my US citizenship after I became an Australian citizen. Before the pandemic, I used to travel back to St. Louis to visit my family, and visit once every other year or more. I haven't seen them in person since 2019, and I was planning to go visit soon, now that the pandemic has calmed down. One of my brothers told me that he was getting married and that they were going to have a wedding in Cancun. He's my brother, so of course I was going to attend his wedding if I could. Most of my family was going to be there, so I would get to see them, and I would also finally get to meet my brother's fiancée. When we got to Cancun, I spent the first day seeing my family and catching up. My brother said that his fiancée was doing some last-minute preparations, and I would get to meet her tomorrow. I will say that at this time, no one in my family was acting strange, and I had no idea what was coming. Well, the next day, my brother brought his fiancée to lunch. I did get to meet her, sort of. This is where everything went to heck. I found out that she had no idea about the wedding. She just thought that this was a regular trip for her and my brother. She didn't know my family or any of hers would be there too. My brother planned a surprise wedding. The kicker is that although they talked about marriage, they were not even engaged. The wedding didn't even end up happening. She was obviously upset. For her side, my brother had invited her mom and her stepfather and her stepbrother. She was angry that not only did my brother spring the wedding on her, but that he didn't invite the other people who were important to her, such as her dad and her best friend and others. My brother told her that he didn't tell them because they would have wrecked the surprise and warned her. There was a public fight, and I think more behind the closed doors. All I know is that she left the next day, and there was no wedding. The rest of the trip was really awkward. I told my brother that he was an idiot to spring a whole wedding on his girlfriend without them even being engaged. Everyone in my family knew and went along with it. Maybe I have been away from my family for too long, but I think that this was complete stupidity. My brother is mad at me for calling him an idiot and saying that it was a stupid idea. He thought that he was being romantic and thoughtful. He hasn't talked to me since the trip ended. Do you all think that I am a jerk for what I said? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
I mean, I think you could have used better language, but I do think it's important that someone tells him why this is a bad idea. How can he think he's being thoughtful when he thought it was more important to exclude some of the most important people in her life to keep the secret? This just feels performative, and it feels like he really thought about what he wanted in a wedding and not about what she wanted in a wedding.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's the element with all of these surprise weddings. I mean, we've had quite a number of them at this point in time, and this one's really no different. I think that the moral here is don't have a surprise wedding unless you're absolutely positively 100% sure that whoever you're getting married to will want a surprise wedding. And so I think that this is one of those situations where OP, like Amber said, you thought about yourself, you didn't think about what she wanted. If other people in her family were going to warn her, that probably means that's not something that she would want.
Right, and that's the thing. It seems like he was so intent on this idea and about doing what he wanted, and like they're just naysayers or whatever, but that's your sign that maybe step back. Like if there are people who are saying no, like, or you know would oppose it, like, take a moment and think about why.
Yeah, so exactly. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Asking My Friend's Wife to Sell Me the Breast Milk That She's Not Using? I'm a 35-year-old male and I'm very much into bodybuilding. Frankly, for all intents and purposes, I am huge. My friends, a 35-year-old male, and his wife, a 35-year-old female, have recently had a baby. My friend and his wife mentioned in passing that they are not breastfeeding and instead using formula. I don't care the reasons why, and frankly, it's none of my business. However, it got me thinking. On various bodybuilding forums I lurk on, I've read that breast milk is unparalleled as a bulking aid. I asked my friend's wife if I could have the breast milk that she is producing and, most importantly, not using. She looked a little confused when I asked. I even offered to pay. She declined and said that she didn't feel comfortable doing so. I told her that this isn't untoward, as I'm really honestly not interested in women or even men. If they can't lift or train as much as I do, I'm not interested in sharing my life with them. They're now both avoiding me despite me texting to ask again and express my seriousness in this. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk. You don't go asking for people's bodily fluids unless you know them, like, really, really well and know how they feel about these things. Like, first of all, I mean, you don't know what reason she's not breastfeeding for, but it may very well have to do with all the pain associated with that, and pumping is not a pleasant experience, and like the milk doesn't naturally just like fall out of the boobs, so like I don't think you thought about how the physical discomfort you have to go through to provide this for you.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is that she has excess breast milk that she has to pump, so I'm not really sure. I mean, I know that some women do produce breast milk and do have to pump in order to stop some like pain associated with that.
Yeah, from the way I read the letter, it sounds like he's assuming that since they're formula feeding, she's producing all this milk, so she might as well give it to me, and he may not understand the mechanics involved in that.
Yeah, and that might be the case here. I think that when you ask someone for breast milk, you really do have to know that individual, and I think it's one of those things that's very personal.
Yeah.
Some people are going to be a little more comfortable with this, other people aren't. And there are places online, from what I understand, I've never looked this up, but I've heard from previous letters similar to this that there are places that you can buy breast milk at. And if that's the case, OP, if you're really looking for breast milk, there might be some other place that you can buy this at. But, you know, that's going to require research, and that's going to require you looking into it. It's often a very sensitive thing for people, and it's a very personal thing to pump breast milk, and so a lot of people just aren't very comfortable with that. I don't think that OP meant to come across the way they did, but I think where you really, really messed up here is that you didn't take no for an answer.
Well, that too. Yeah, exactly. Like, it seems like you're so focused on you and getting what you want that you're not considering her comfort at all in any of this. Like, from a woman's perspective, like, this is it would be a really, really awkward thing to be asked. Like, if I were in her shoes, I would be like, I don't want to see this person ever again because they are asking for my bodily fluids. Like, this is really weird. This is really uncomfortable. And you are not accepting her boundary of, no, I don't want to do this. And instead being like, oh, but no, I promise I'm not a creep. Just give me your bodily fluids.
Yeah. So let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, I'm a 33-year-old male and my girlfriend, a 28-year-old female, won't let me order fun drinks at a coffee shop because they're gay. Throwaway, since I, a 33-year-old male's girlfriend, a 28-year-old female, is also an avid Redditor. I've been together with my partner for about a year now. Long story short is that my girlfriend won't let me order fun drinks when we go to a coffee shop on weekends because she says that they make me look gay. When I pressed her on the last time around, she sort of backtracked a bit and said that she's also worried about the added sugar of the drinks like frappuccinos, mochas, pumpkin spice lattes, etc. The thing is that I only drink regular black coffee during the week and keep a pretty clean diet. I view mocha frappuccino on the weekend as my reward or cheat meal. And it's just nice to switch it up from my go-to. I'm a 6 foot tall, 175 pounds, so weight really isn't much of an issue, and I work out a few times a week. Well, my partner has called me gay multiple times when ordering these drinks. And one time, when we were out with her other girlfriends, they all agreed that men should stick to plain black coffee. They even said that an iced Americano, my typical drink, is somewhat feminine because you drink it through a straw. I was disappointed by these women as they are well-educated, liberal, and claim to be progressive. I find that this double standard is a bit troubling, to say the least, but they claim that they can't be sexist or homophobic because they are women. I love my girlfriend, and I wish that she would stop saying these things, but I find it hurtful and am at odds on how to talk to her or make her come around. Do I keep trying to convince her to move on? Edit. A lot of comments, which have given me much to think about, so thank you. To be clear, I have not changed my coffee order to appease my girlfriend, but she'll make demeaning comments each time. She's obviously shown me many good traits and isn't a bad person, but immature may be the right word. I appreciate the honest feedback here. Breaking up with her over coffee would certainly be ironic. Alright folks, what do you think?
I mean, I think your girlfriend is being homophobic.
Yeah.
Like, being a woman doesn't mean you can't be sexist or homophobic. And why does it matter if you quote unquote look gay? Like, why is she so afraid of you looking gay?
Or feminine, for that matter.
Or feminine. Why aren't men allowed to enjoy sugary drinks? Like, this is nonsense. Keep drinking your sugary drinks. And I feel like if she just you need to tell her that, like, either she stops with these comments or you're not going to go out to get drinks with her anymore or something like that.
Yeah, the homophobia here is pretty awful.
Yeah.
And I think that's my biggest concern. And her friends are also being homophobic. And none of these people are acting very good. And I think that it's important to point out that they are acting homophobic and that there's no excuse for what they're doing. Certainly, when you use the word gay as a slur like this, there's no context in which that makes it okay. Right?
Exactly.
This is a slur. This is not all right. And that's really what this boils down to. You don't get a free pass for one reason or another. So
yeah, and I know you say she has a lot of good traits, so it may feel like a little much to break up with her over this, but I think it's also important to investigate that homophobia and that, internalized, the sexism too, because there's, the internalized misogyny here about, oh, well, men shouldn't be doing this because then they're not manly enough.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know it feels small, but I just have such a hard time. Like, if she's homophobic and saying these kind of things to you and demeaning you as a person, and in turn also demeaning gay people, like, that's just, I feel like that's kind of would be a deal breaker for me. So investigate that a bit more. And
yeah, I do really feel like there is a lot of growing up that needs to be done here, and telling them that this is unacceptable, and if they keep doing this, that you're not going to hang out with them, I think is a really appropriate way to go about from here. So let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. Amber has a jovial Bob Stein joke, and I'm just gonna sit here and plug my ears and go na 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 na.
What is a monster's favorite... Oh, actually, let's not do that one. Yeah, that's fine. What is a monster's favorite skyscraper?
Is it the Twin Towers?
No, it's not. I thought it was for a second.
Well, you stopped there for a second.
I was like, wait, let me read this, because I hadn't read the punchline yet, so I wanted to make sure.
Well, for a second, because you stopped,
yeah.
And I'm like, is this like a horrible, like, insensitive joke from the...
This was written in the 80s, so I had to make sure that it wasn't an insensitive punchline.
I mean, I guess, like, a monster's favorite tower would be, like, the Empire State Building, because it's monstrous, and it's also, like, where Godzilla... not Godzilla, but, like, the great ape... What's the...
King Kong.
King Kong, yeah. Where King Kong likes to go to hang out.
The Vampire State Building.
Oh, the Vampire State Building? That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I have the long-awaited Earl Grey.
You sound so thrilled about that.
Well, no, I wasn't. I was saying it like a long-awaited. It's something that people have been waiting for. They've been guessing Earl Grey, and haven't been having it as much. I needed to pull it out so that folks would know that there's still the Earl Grey. It's still here, folks. It's still here. It's still in the running for candidacy. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Folks, we need some kind of moral guidance and or advice, and we'll turn to our moral advice consultant, Amber. Amber, can you give us a moral, and please have it a haiku?
If you want to wed your partner, then consider their wants and needs too. I think that worked. I counted on my fingers a bunch of times and I kept getting the wrong thing, but I think it's the 575.
Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.